Good evening. Oh, is this a little high for me? I might just move it a bit over there. So I had an incredibly privileged upbringing. When I was 10 years old, my parents emigrated to Beverly Hills, California, 90210. I went to school with the Children of the Stars, with Diana Ross's kids, with Tony Curtis's kids, with Mickey Mouse's illegitimate kids. That was Jerry Mouse. Oh, and Stuart Little. Dean Martin's daughter came to school wearing a diamond bracelet on her arm, great big baguette diamonds, spelling out the letters of her name, bitch. I had a macrame bracelet on mine, 3 little beads, and it was made out of string. I made it myself, so I looked completely piss poor. I wasn't cool. I was so much weirder than Ugly Betty. But my brother, he was so cool. He managed to get arrested at primary school. 9 years old for drug dealing. Impressive, eh? But my parents, they were so upset. They used their influence. They weren't celebrities, but then they had to let him go, because it was kitchen herbs. It was oregano, parsley, rosemary. Fond memories, eh? But he soon moved on from possession with intent to supply fake drugs to cultivation of real drugs. He germinated Acapulco gold seeds in little pots, and he put the pots on the roof of the Beverly Hills home, and when the seedlings were large enough, he transplanted them into a herbaceous border in the garden, and it grew 6 feet tall. And my dad, the very eminent UCLA professor of psychiatry from England, could be heard to say, "Isn't it nice how your brother takes an interest in horticulture? He loves his plants." I felt like saying, "Yeah, Dad, he loves smoking them and selling them." But I kept stum. Well, you don't brass up your brother, do you? One day, 3 helicopters arrived. 2 landed in the back garden and 1 landed on the roof, because they'd seen the herbaceous border on the infrared, and they wanted to arrest my dad, take him away. And then it all came out. It was his 13-year-old son, carted off to juvenile hall, young offenders units. He even went to the Jewish rehab. You didn't know they had a Jewish rehab, did you? No, nor did I. It was odd, though, because he wasn't even Jewish. You would have thought, wouldn't you, after 18 months in Jewish rehab, he'd come out a rabbi. Or at the very least, Orthodox. No, he came out a heroin addict. It was kosher heroin, though. As I said, fond memories. Now, I was studying in England, and I was going back and forth several times a year. And while other brothers were helping their sisters get a date for the prom, my brother was talking me into smuggling drugs for him, transatlantic, through international customs and borders. I know, that was a terrible idea, wasn't it? Terrible, because I did it. So, as I said, I was travelling back several times a year, and I was only 16. In the States, if you get busted for anything at all under the age of 18, when you reach 18, they wipe it off your record. That was too good a business opportunity for my brother to miss. So my mum bought me a ticket. She bought me one of those cheap bucket shop tickets. I don't know if you've ever noticed how rich people love a bargain. Have you ever noticed that? So this was not a direct flight. I had to change planes in Toronto. Let me tell you, that's hardly ideal when you're drug smuggling. So on the plane, I'm talking myself into it. I'm just doing my Alexander technique. and I'm going neck release, back lengthen, shoulders release and widen. Keep calm, pick up your suitcase, go through customs, then show them your ticket, get your connecting flight. Right, I was quite nervous. I get to the baggage hall. My suitcase nowhere to be found. I keep seeing it going round and round and round. Everybody's got their baggage. I'm the last. I had to report it missing. Had to fill in forms. I missed my connecting flight. The very nice Air Canada stewardess said to me, "Don't worry, you'll get the first flight out in the morning." In the morning, I'm stuck in Toronto airport overnight with 3 ounces of hash up my cunt. I was so paranoid. I didn't get a wink of sleep. I kept thinking, very soon I'll start smelling of Morocco or Lebanon or the perfumes of Arabia. In the morning, after a sleepless night, I go to get my flight, and the very nice Air Canada steward looks at the ticket and goes, "This is a student ticket. It expired 6 months ago. You'll have to pay $90. $90? I was a student. I didn't have a penny in my pocket and no credit card, just the drugs, you know where. So I had to phone my mum and she had to wire me the money. It took 3 days. 3 days in Toronto airport with a large quantity of you-know-what up my you-know-where. I had nothing to eat for 3 days. I hardly had a wink of sleep. But eventually, a very, very nice man, well, he looked a bit like you, sir. He bought me a burger. He was a policeman. Couldn't even swallow my burger. It stuck in my throat. But at last, the money arrived and I got my ticket and I got on the plane. I was nearly home. So I get talking to another man. He was a very nice man who looked a bit like you, sir. And we're chatting away, having a lovely time. And I say to him, "What do you do?" He says, "I'll give you my card." Commissioner of Police for Toronto. Oh my God, they're on to me. It's because I'm a minor. He's accompanying me. I'll be locked up. I'll be in prison. I'll have to swim out. Midnight Express. No, I got away with it. Mark, my brother, he was so fired up. But you know, the hash from having been inside my body for 3 days, it had cooked. It was now powder. Mark didn't care. He got out his scales, he took the powder, he weighed it up, he bagged it up, and he sold the pussy hash to his friends. They loved it. They said, "It has a wonderful aroma. I can't quite put my finger on it." 3 days of unwashed pussy. I know, that's disgusting, isn't it? Well, of course, you would think after an experience like that, you'd never want to, well, you might want to do drugs, fair enough, but you'd never want to smuggle them, right? Right, but you're normal. I did it again several times. Mark gave me window pane acid, legendary. Each hit was as big as my thumbnail. You could razor blade that into 4 hits and 4 people would have the trip of a lifetime. I saw you nod. You remember it. I gave it to half my class at RADA. We were all hallucinating away. And then I even contemplated putting it in the water supply up in the canteen, and that way every student and every teacher would have had the trip of a lifetime. But then I thought that might be a bit irresponsible, so I didn't. But if I had, perhaps we would have had a whole new generation of actors in the mental homes. As it was, one actor, his last name was Bottle, his first name was Michael Bottle. So he hallucinated that the Jolly Green Giant was after him. "He's gonna put me in a tin," he kept saying. Ironic, Bottle was afraid of tins. I don't know how many of you have done LSD, but you think up these amazing strategies and in the morning you realise it's complete and utter shit. You know what I mean? So nowadays I don't do drugs anymore. Well, 6 cans of Red Bull. Or I do have a bit of a smoke occasionally. Unless anyone can find me any crystal meth. In which case we can talk. Thank you. You've been a fantastic audience and I've been Sarah Mason.
Sarah Mason, ladies and gentlemen. What I'll say now is it's a true story from my youth.